Hello and welcome to the couch right here on ZTN Prime. My name is Howard Msonza, and in studio I'm joined by the couch squad. David Sengu is here. 33 is here, and Veronica Gwazi. It's not a full strength squad, but hey, it will do the job. But one and a red card, so we will make sure we do with what here. Mr. Teach is not here, but anyway, our topic for today, we are focusing on the Zimbabwe Warriors squad, and we're calling them Mario's Warriors, who will be in that final. Is it a 28 men squad that goes to the Africa Cup of Nations?
23. No, under 28.
So
it will be true to 23 men squad.
No,
for
the tournament.
But they will not travel.
No, those 5 will travel with the squad. If anything happens, they'll just be, put in there.
Because I thought there was something new, because when they increased the number of substitutes to 5, there was now that leeway to also increase the number of the squad that goes.
Exactly.
Let us make it clear here. 23 men who will travel, 5 reserves who will not travel.
Oh, okay.
And it's not 2022.
Not 2022?
Yes.
No. So I'm saying now, because 2022, did we have 5?
Yes, 5 masab. 5 masab are introduced compared to 2020.
After COVID?
Yes.
So 23 men squad, then 5.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, it will be a 28 men squad, but with 5 reserves.
Yes.
Right. So that's what we're discussing today. Who is going to make that final squad to represent Zimbabwe in the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco? So earlier we had the coach Super Mario announcing a bloated 51-member squad, which is going to go into camp, starting with the local band of Warriors. Then will be joined later by the foreign-based international. So I know some of you guys went to that announcement where 51 names were called out, and I know there are a couple of surprises that you guys witnessed, because the newsroom I could hear, but hey, this player, and yeah, because that's what we do. We also part of the stakeholders of football in Zimbabwe. So in studio, yeah, these are the guys that will be going through this topic that we are discussing today. Vero, I know you went there.
Yeah.
Any surprise? Just one that you want to talk about?
My biggest surprise, I think, the inclusion of Alec Mdemu, especially after the former Warrior. I would call him the former Warrior because he publicly announced his retirement from international football. And currently I'm not even sure where exactly he's playing, and to see him bounce back just like that, no prior communication as to him making a U-turn in retirement, it actually came as a surprise. And then also the exclusion of Tawanda Macheke, one player whom I believe is a complete player. So I really don't know how he got left out when most of the players are actually getting their first national team call-ups. And this bloated squad, obviously this is a chance for Super Mario to get to vet some of these players, especially after only getting chance to watch 2 of the Premiership games. So I thought maybe he was going to be part of the squad so that he can prove himself to Super Mario in this coming game.
Maybe you didn't watch Tel 1 in action, so. But anyway, you get a glimpse of what we were talking about on the show. I know Teddy wants to talk about that as well, but we'll get into that. I know you've got a lot of information from where you were. You also want to talk about Tawanda Macheke and all that. But first, let's take a look at the trending football stories. And one story that has been doing the rounds is of, should I call him, former Scotland coach Tony Ryan parted ways with the club this afternoon, and a lot of speculation on what happened, but they put out a statement on their Facebook page that they'd come to an amicable solution to dissolve their marriage. I don't know if there's anything called amicable, when 2 parties are going their separate ways. But Tadi, I know you have been chasing that story. So there are allegations so grapevine and all that. There's a certain Michael Nice who is alleged to have signed a pre-contract, when you are still with the Warriors. I don't know if it's true, but these are just allegations. Teddy, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised, Brad, that...
But by what I said, or...
No, by the so-called mutual separation between Scotland and 29, because it seems like these guys are trying to fix what is not broken. Because 29 has actually delivered the league title to Scotland, whom we all know that they were demanding just a top 4 finish, and then 29 boom, he won the league title, and to now hear that he is separating, he is divorcing with Scotland is something of a surprise.
Yeah, it is a surprise. So what we're going to do, we're going to hear from Tonderai Ndiraya, I think his last comment, on Scotland before he... did he get fired? His contract came to an end. Yeah, so this, together with our player of the week, the final match that we covered, as Scotland played against Stel before their coronation in Gweru. And for our player of the week, we've got that goal that was scored by Tadiwa Chakuchichi. Then we'll hear from Tonderai Ndiraya.
Now the champions driving forward with Chakuchichi to make it 2. Scotland on the double, cantering as the party starts early here at Ascot Stadium. And the young man who carries a lot of potential, showing a cool head to slot that past an on-rushing Chris Mverechena.
Look at that, just breaks away, slack casual defending, just slots it past Mverechena, and 2-0. Let's take a look at that again. Look at him just gliding past, looks up, sees Mverechena come off his line, and then just slots it home. It is Scotland 2 up here at Ascot Stadium.
We played this game without pressure, and you saw what happened. Scored 2 quick goals. Happy for young Tadiwa Chakuchichi. I'm so excited. The team played with at ease, without pressure. Exactly. I mean, the future is bright for Scotland Football Club. 17-year-olds, 16-year-old Chakuchichi. I mean, what else can you ask for? What more I'm so excited for the youngsters. They didn't just play; they played very well, which is very good. I mean, those are kids. You saw the way Chakuchichi ran through all the defenders there and scored that wonder goal. The future is bright for. So we're not just winning titles with experienced players. We are also grooming youngsters as a team.
So yeah, that's Tonderai Ndiraya, and talking about some of the things that he was planning to do with Scotland. Grooming youngsters. To come up with a future-proof side that was going to take things further than this title they got recently, Scotland. So what happened? What prompted this separation?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to understand what really happened, because there was one time when the owner, Scott Sakupkanya, he went to watch Ngombe Awara Division 1 match, at Hart Stadium, and they were playing like total football, which is a passing game. And the next thing is, you could hear saying, "This is what I want. This is what I want to see." Wakomana vahombe vachiita. So I think ndo kwazvakatangira, kuti ane vision nezvaari kutarisira kuona pa first team, which is Scotland, and izvozvo is kind of very difficult to convince him manje munhu kana atodaro kuti whatever zvamune muchiita, what matters most is not about the results yet, but it's about the quality of football yacho iri kutambwa. But from my understanding, sometimes it's not about the coach, and as much as the coach wants the result, you also want a better performance from his players. Something chekuti when you get to training unotarisa on a positive note kuti how much percentage did we have when we had the ball? Which means zvatiri training might be much more issues, because when the team is winning, apana zvakawanda zvamune muchinyanya kuita sei, zvamune muchida kunyanya kugadzirisa, because mune muchingoda momentum yekuramba muchiita sei, muchigrinda results. So for Scotland, I think there was this thing chekuti aitarisira team yake kuti inge ichidominate each and every game rinenge richitambwa in terms of ball possession, because of the quality of the players that were there. But from my understanding, philosophy Atondi, I do understand him. He's one coach who believes in results. As soon as he gets that goal, Tondera's team will not concede. So, ukatazama results avakawanda. Whenever they get that goal, they make sure they shut the shop. Maybe the owner didn't like that kind of football.
What do you think? Talk to us. What might have happened between Tondera and Scotland, going their separate ways? They put on their Facebook that they had separated. So what do you think? Talk to us. We're all over social media at ZTN Prime, #TheCouch. What do you think would have happened there between these two parties? Who is likely to come to Scotland?
I think if the rumors that we had is anything to go by, we are going to see Michael Nice coming to Scotland. But I also feel that maybe Scotland were a bit unfair, not only to Tondera and I remember this is almost the same fashion that Genesis Mangombe left Scotland as well. So I think there is just too much, I wouldn't really want to call it interference, but it's interference from the club owner himself. Because look, when you look at that squad, most of the players, it's him who signed those players. So you have a coach, but you don't really give him that freedom to sign the players that he wants. There is also talk around interference on setting up of the team. So at the end of the day, I feel that maybe at the end of the day doesn't really understand the role that the coach has to play. He feels that everything is in his hands. So even if the coach goes, he's not even bothered. He's not even worried, because at the end of the day, ndiye anoseta team yacho, ndiye anosign ama players. Saka basa ra coach ndiri.
But you blame him. He's shelling the dollars, He's putting a lot of money on the table, and what he wants, I'm going to just grab a few lines from what David was. He wants sexy football. So when you are dueling the cash and that sexy football is not there, what do you do?
But can I mean Matora coach give the coach freedom so that you question him when he fails to deliver?
Yeah, I think there's a delicate balance that's needed there.
No, what I think Scotland need to do, they need to bring in a director and a technical director in their setup. So the technical director, the executive, the coaches, vanenge vaine semji and the mentality yekuziya kuti this is how Scotland should be playing. This is the type of players that we want to sign. Because as long as pasina izvozvo awandi, going forward, but
what do you feel, Kuti, even if they bring in a technical director, Scott is going to sit back and respect that technical director?
No, the thing is, Vero, can I find a sporting director and Murizwe team direct to the coach to tell him, what to do. One, and I have to end up through technical director. One, because whoever coach wa Muruku Wunza, and make sure kuti na technical director vane same philosophy, vane vachifambirana. One person should achieve one club. But as long as there is direct contact between the owner and the coach, there is always going to be differences between the two.
What I can tell you, there is always going to be direct contact between someone
Definitely.
who's putting his money. He's got direct contact with anyone who is chowing his money.
Yeah, but it's not Siana.
Because those protocols that you are talking about, you wouldn't even go directly to my players. Achinoita interference, achiseta team, achiplay Jamarine and stuff, because there are authorities, there are offices that he needs to go through.
If it's a long-term project, to be honest, you end up line Iroro.
long-term project I
think we need to
no,
dedicate
not to technology, but to Scotland.
David, I think we need to dedicate another show to discuss these issues. I see it's a bit of a contentious one, but let's move on. You're watching The Couch right here on ZTN Prime. Top Zimbabwe referee Brighton Chimene has been selected to officiate at next month's Africa Cup of Nations finals in Morocco. Chimene, the reigning PSL referee of the year, will be the nation's only representative among 73 officials chosen for the continental showpiece, but he will be taking charge of the video assistant referee. Kudos to him.
Yeah, of course, Brighton Chimene is quite an outstanding referee. He has showed that I think for the past 4-5 Africa Cup of Nations, Tangatisina an official. I think the last official Againda Afcon was in 2010 or 2008. That was Kenny Marangi. So it means beside officiating, we are also now coming up.
And what I love also, look, we don't have VAR, here in Zimbabwe, but here's somebody who got trained, really understood it, and going there on such a ticket, I think it says something about where we want to go. Yes, we might not have VAR, and it might take a bit of a time to come to our shores, but I think it's a positive move for the country. Right, let's move on and talk about another contentious issue. The 2025 Kasolaga Premier Soccer League Soccer Stars of the Year will be crowned on the 5th of December. So on Tuesday, a panel of 57 journalists, 18 club captains and coaches voted for the best 11 from which the Soccer Star of the Year will emerge. So Scotland duo of Kevin Moore and Tama Machope made the cut, while Moors were ably represented by Billy Veremo and Abubakar Moffat. Last season's champions, Zimbabwe, lead the nominations with William Tole, Isheune Sumauchi and Emmanuel Ziwocha. Other finalists include Andrew Mbeba, Emmanuel Jalai, Washington Navaya, and Jarison Selemani. Did you vote?
No.
You voted?
Yes, I voted.
You voted?
Yes, I did.
Okay. David, who from this list, who do you think will get the top one?
From what we have been reading, Howard, or what I've been reading, Howard, I think Kelvin Moyo will take it.
Who do you think, anyway, who do you think deserves to be the soccer star?
I think he deserves.
Not from what Vanate they are writing.
No. I think he deserves.
Why?
Because besides being consistent, in fact, I think it's more to do with his presence in the Scotland team. As a leader, remember, he's a veteran. Kelvin, he has won championships with FC Platinum, and he has won also Chibuku Super Cup with Dynamos twice,
So
consecutive years.
Are we giving based on somebody being a veteran?
No, I'm just saying, Kuti, the way he was playing, Howard, he was showing, Kuti, you know what, when I'm not there, or when I'm there, the Scotland defense shows up.
I don't know, I'm failing to understand what you're saying, David.
Howard, Nrukuti, Kelvin Moyo, to deserve to be Soccer Star of the Year is because of his presence in that team at the back. Besides being just consistent, you could even see Kuti Matambira Arkuita, and as long as he's in there in that team, his presence even.
So was the Scotland defense better than FC Platinum? Was it better than the PC Kariba?
It should not depend, Howard, with the way how are you conceding goals, at the end of the day, each and every match. Because Ukataza FC Platinum, I think, Scotland, they only conceded more than 2 goals when they played against Dynamos, when they conceded 3. But the rest of the games that they played, it was only maybe a goal, a piece, in each and every match that they were playing. And even when they lose games, they could lose by a goal to 0. And except that Dynamos game. And to be honest, conceding 20 goals in 34 matches, and we have played all those 34 games.
And how many did FC Platinum concede?
They conceded 20. But they conceded, in one game, they conceded 5.
So?
izvo zvinopoka muka difference in terms of ukada kutaza in terms of defending.
Okay, let's go to Tati. Who do you think deserves to be? I know for you it's a bit tricky because at the end of the day you also need to be, when you were selecting, you also needed to put somebody, you know, to win it. But just let the cat out of the bag. Who do you think deserves to be the soccer star of the year?
Yeah, quite a difficult one, Tao. But from this list, you know, we had no player in particular in the just ended season who was outstanding. We have to agree on that. Okay. But from these guys, from the 11 that the panelists voted for, I think Emmanuel Socha deserves it more than anyone else from this list. Emmanuel Socha, playing for Simba Bora, notched 18 assists and scored 8 goals, right?
No. He scored 4
goals. He scored 4 goals, and then he had 18 assists. So he was involved
in
directly in 22 Simba Bora goals as an attacking midfielder. Sometimes he was played in the wing, sometimes as an attacking midfielder. Sometimes he could be brought back deep in midfield. So I think from all the 11, Emmanuel Socha deserves it. Although you also go for
Howard, can I just no, I'm not going to say anything. Howard, thanks Daddy. At least knows what Howard and sinda taura kuti gorenera kuna munamboro wa bora zvikutaneti andikuona at least ndinda taura inza ane jealous. You understand?
Let's go to Vera. Who do you think from this list, who do you think deserves to be the soccer star of the year?
Emmanuel Socha.
Are they the same reasons?
I'm not going to, yes. The first one is actually the same reasons, looking at his stats. Then the second one, for me, Emmanuel Socha, looking at the time that he spent at Dynamos and then moving to Simba Bora, you can see the improvement. Yekuti Munwe Atochinja is a totally different player from what he was at Dynamos. So I think for me at that age, and that's more of a big move for him to just leave Dynamos and then join the Champions camp and then going there, fitting into that setup and proving himself. I think for me that was more of the second reason. And then Todzoko Kumashure, we don't really have anyone who took it outstanding. Socha, he was really good in the first half of the season. But coming to the second half, he somehow fizzled out. But Tikanataka to Teresa, Vesari 11, we don't really have anyone who thought he was outstanding. Season yakatoshka pakutopera, and we were even scratching our heads tichida kuvota because tatisina anyone who thought this one is undisputed, save for Washington Navai because of the goals. But I think this also comes back to our PSL. Maybe this is the time that we need to consider investing in technology. In order to at least it starts, then we don't have to crack our heads. Tukita should really backed up Nima statistics.
But it's on this my clubs, guys. My clubs should just invest, and because pese pavano is pa page pavo, and whether it's Facebook, X, anything, it's also we go there. Tinotoraji, all those states. Because the PSO PSO should just push, and the clubs we want.
You know.
But are you aware that we have been getting my statistics from my clubs? Are very manipulated.
Sorry, Vera. I hear what you guys are talking about when you talk about stats. But what stats are we talking about? You know, to a point that, you know, at the end of each season, you are saying, no, we are collecting these stats and we are saying this is the best player from our Premiership. Because all these players play in different positions. So you look at midfielders. What are you expecting from a defensive midfielder? Then you look at, you know, the duels won, the tackles made, how many times did they break down play and all that. You go to attacking midfielders, you also talk about assists, you talk about goals, you go to the strikers, you're talking about Washington Navaya. How many goals did he score? So how can we harness this so that it's a collective thing? We agree on the same thing. That look, despite everything, but this player played head and shoulders above everybody.
No, can I just come in there, Howard, in terms of Masters or Ruta, and it, like, let me go into the midfield, and we had lots of yellow cards with the midfielders. Why? because kune vari great vave kuti they are still getting in there hard because ndo matambiro ake. He ends up the whole season aine 11 yellow cards, mumwe ane 12, mumwe ane plus 1 red card. You look at Tanaka Shandirwa, Muchikambizi, Butolezo Ncube, and they say they've got 10 yellow cards plus, and my yellow cards are
and when you talk about top players, those are top players.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Because they were breaking down.
Because at the end of the day, Howard, we'd go much on disqualifying those guys, and instead of kutarisa the contribution, because kuna mama anapoa yellow card red club but good uyu munhu akakutonogoyesa Howard, and
taking one for the team.
Exactly.
Kotoita vamwe vari kubenefita because hatina that breakdown yema-stats. When you look at my goalkeepers, isusu tinongotarisa kuti ane more clean sheets ndiyani, but yet ukatarisa Sange William Tole, he has benefited from that organized defense yeSimba Bora, which has been organized from last season, but he has benefited from that. Next season vakaramba vakaichengeta kadaro, the next goalkeeper who's going to come acha benefita, and yet at the end of the day ukataura na Webster Tafa anokudza kuti I've got a clean sheet ari kuriclaim ndera akewo, but William Tole akaita ma-saves mangani.
Aiwa, ma-clean sheets ana William Tole 18 iwayo. Webster Tafa is part of those clean sheets. Yes. 18 clean sheets in 34 games.
Mauchi
is part of that. And Blessing Moore is part of that.
We've gone full circle. Remember when he started talking about Kevin Moore and how they were not conceding. Now you're giving me a name that was also part of a team that was not conceding. Because now they've got a goalkeeper, according to stats, a goalkeeper with 18 clean sheets. And you had Webster Tafa, who played almost all the 34 games.
Remember when Scotland played against Dynamos, later on Denver says, patakatoti tukunotamba ni Scotland, istakatongodza nauti boys, ngatisaende ine kuwing ra Kevin, because tikaenda nekuna Kevin atibudirire, and we had to use the other wing, that's why we won that game. So anoona kuti this is a defender ari kutozikanwa nemama players kuti uku kwatibudirire. So now kana paita clean sheet, Nelson Chajika is going to say this is my clean sheet, and then Kevin Moyano kudza kuti nderangu.
Peter Mjowa will say nderangu.
Yes.
All right. We will also discuss. We want the producers to also make sure that we discuss this issue. Maybe bring in an official from the Premier Soccer League so that we understand. We discuss this further and really understand what needs to be done, so that we don't have any lingering thoughts, issues with regards to the soccer star of the year selection. Now you're watching the couch right here on ZTN Prime. Remember, today we are focusing on the Warriors. A 51-member squad was announced today, so that's what we are focusing on. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
You're to the couch right here on ZTN Prime. I've got David Sengu, 33, and Veronica Guaze as we are discussing through the Warriors. A 51-member squad was announced today by Super Mario, the Warriors coach, his introduction to the media and to Zimbabwe. I know he was in charge of 2 friendly matches, but being introduced to the media, it was today. And he then went on to announce a 51-member squad. He'll be looking to whittle down to 23. That's going to represent Zimbabwe, the Africa Cup of Nations in December in Morocco. So that's what we are going to be discussing here, the 53. And what the coach did was to open up doors for local best players, because in that 51 provisional squad, he expanded, the expanded squad is 23 foreign based players and 28 locally based players. Andy Rinomota is among the notable inclusions, while Alec Mudimu make a surprise return. Kama Billiard is the most glaring omission, while Jarison Selemani of FC Platinum is the only locally best player on the 2025 Soccer Stars calendar to miss out. Speaking during the unveiling of the squad today, Warriors coach Mario Marinica admitted it was going to be a challenging thing to come up with the final squad, but promised there will be new faces.
Is they say that life is like a box of chocolates, you don't know what is expected, so the same thing probably going to be for you. You may find, a box of chocolate with very, very sweet one and maybe bitter one. So that's, the things with the fans and everyone, to try to find out what actually is there, whatever. Unfortunately, you have only a certain amount of players and certain amount of, number you could take. So it's extremely challenging. But yes, you're going to see something probably going to shock you.
So yeah, I think he's a movie buff. Opening up with a line from that super movie from 1994, Forrest Gump. Life is like what box of chocolates and what. He was just trying to tell us, things are going to happen, and we are going to see changes as we go. But when you look at this bloated 51-member squad, honestly, Taddy, who do you think is going to make the final squad for Morocco? Because it's good. He has expanded to bring in more players, to see some other faces that were probably being overlooked. But realistically, with the amount of time that's there, who can make the squad?
Right. Quite a difficult one, Howard. But I'm very happy for the coach. I'm also happy for the players, especially the local players who have been included in this bloated squad. But then when you look at what the coach said is his philosophy, fast and very fast philosophy, going to the attacking end, I think we are going to see a little bit of a few surprises there. I think Nelson Chagia is going to make it.
If it's the fast and very fast.
Okay, it's outside the philosophy. But from the way that Nelson Chagia, because he's a goalkeeper, from the way he plays, he had a fantastic season, an outstanding season, playing 21 games, conceding just 9 goals, and keeping 13 clean sheets.
So who is going to be dropped there? Because already, remember, we had 3 goalkeepers. Now they are 4. And for the final squad, you go with 3 goalkeepers.
Yeah. There are 5 actually.
5.
Donovan Bernard is there.
There's also Donovan Bernard. So I think Nelson Chagia is going to step up for Martin Mapisa. Because Martin Mapisa, but he has never been tested at international level. And so I think Nelson Chagia is going to make it.
Now let's go to the fast and very fast.
And very fast. Yeah. I think Nigel Martinez is going to make it. I think Ishmael Nyani is also going to make it. Then
don't they play the same type of football?
Yes, that is the fast and very fast philosophy.
Same position.
These are wingers, so because Ishmael Nyani can play literally any position in the field of play, because this season has been used as a right back, sometimes as a left back, sometimes as a right winger, as a left winger. So especially Ishmael Nyani, I think he's going to make it. Then Emmanuel Ziwocha, I think he is also going to make it.
Okay. What do you think? That's what Taddy thinks. Emmanuel Ziwocha, Ishmael Nyani, Nigel Martina, and Nelson Chajiga. Do you agree with him? Let's discuss this. Don't look at me like that. I'm not the one who chose this 51.
No, I'm not. So, because anti presenter.
Anyway, I'll come to you very. Who do you think is going to make the final cut from the local best players?
Co-producer ngavangotipoka list rajo.
Yeah, I think producer, just give us that list again so that we know what we are talking about. Yeah, there you go. You're scanning through.
Albert Manenji.
Albert Manenji.
I think he has the pace and he has the stature that somehow charmed Super Mario. Because remember, recently we heard that he was commenting about his stature. So I think this is probably the chance for Manenji to prove that whatever Super Mario saw on that particular day, he can still deliver more. And then Mthokozi Simsebe. I think...
Does he fit the bill when it comes to stature?
Not so sure in terms of the very fast part, but in terms of having the composure in the middle of the park and being able to be creative going forward, I think Msebe can fit that bill. And also looking at his legs, we can't really say he's a slow player or someone who really holds the ball at his feet. But I think he's a versatile player who can suit into what Super Mario wants. And then I would agree with Thaddeus on the issue of Nelson Chajika. It has been long overdue, and I think this is now the time for Chajika. Whoever is going to be found slumbering in the top three, in the first three, is going to be put out by Chajika.
David, let's hear from a coach's perspective.
When I was looking at, the names that have been, called up, especially on local best players, I think with the way Mario wants his players, to fit into his system, if it's about pace, closing, spaces, like what Ted was saying, in terms of the players that are fast, but remember, you need to be fast, even kana pakufunga kwacho, you also need to think fast. For all the action that you want to do, you need to think fast. There's Joseph Tulan of Chicken in the center of the midfield. He can play as a right back, he can play as a right wing, he can play even as number 8 if you want him to play as a 8. And there's Kolani Glove as well from Chicken. He's a left back. Now, that position in a Vanwagawanda and in a Vanu, whether very high on, especially in terms of everything. Divine Lunga, you've got Jordan Zemura, him, Albert Manenji, they have to compete. But obviously, their first choices, left back, who are there. So, for these guys to break through, they need to impress the coach. Yes, they can be very fast and whatever, but they need to impress the coach. Kingsley Mureremba, for me, is one boy who has got a heart. The position that he plays, either as a 6 or even as an 8, I think he has done quite so well for Scotland this past season. The moment he recovered from injury, the moment he started playing, I think he's one of the boys that Mario needs to look into him a lot.
So as you guys were going through the players that you want to see from the local ensemble, it's got me thinking. Maybe the first question was supposed to be, which department do you think needs beefing up from what we already have seen from the Warriors? Which department, Taddy, do you think needs some beefing up?
Yeah, now that Mario is come into the frame, I think our strike force needs some ramping up, because we have not been scoring too many goals until Super Mario stepped up against Algeria. We managed to score 1, and then against Qatar we managed to score 2. But I think still
that's the weakest department. Weakest link for you?
And then we're not scoring much goals until Super Mario came.
Yes. Super Mario per 180 minutes.
He's got 3 goals.
3 goals.
Are you a huge fan?
Huh?
Are you a huge fan?
I think he's
No,
been
I'm a
converted.
huge fan of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Pane pambe kuti unaweza patakatamba ni Senegal first game redu ku Afcon 2022 baba. Ndenda to 3 quarters kupinda story yangu kutapata Senegal tadaita. I actually cried. So Warriors haya ndoto maada so to daro session. So kana power ya mungu ani profile yakafana na Super Mario, and I think in terms of profile Zimbabwe sete ambo itamuna ketange Super Mario including Fambishi
And a
profile yakada.
What do you
So
mean?
I think
What do you mean?
oh you don't know good profile change. Okay, resume again. The way he does his things, I think in terms of that DM ombe ombe atambo shika pama Warriors kuba 1980 ivana Fambishi wakauya profile yonge sina udaro but also prove ukuthi itinokwanisa tase tokwasaudaiso.
So
I've got
profile. You mean in terms of coaching qualifications or the places that he's been to, the clubs that he has coached before?
Yes, what he has done before.
What has he done?
Okay, tambo taura pepa nenye kuti basis ye coaching in analysis yakanyanyisa. Unoza kuti this guy has worked almost all his life as an analyst, as an opposition analyst. Anonyatsunzwisisa kuti kachitamba ne opposition yakadai so tunoda ichi andika akaita ku Crystal Palace, akaita ku Arsenal Academy. He was at one point their chief scout. Akaita ni Paraguay World Cup ya 2006. So that alone tells you kuti munhu uyu is up there.
But we need a coach, not a scout.
No,
not an analyst.
Coaching, basis ye coaching. He believes in analysis. Another analyst on top of James Macon, Watagaratina, and you could see even Patatamba against Algeria, these guys were start the opponent for second half. Patatamba Kataba, you could tell right from the first whistle, these guys start how Qatar plays. Was Qatar 1-on-1? It's used to pass par. Those are China number 52 in the world. Is China number 129 in the world. So Ununya not this guy Arukizaza and I wish Kutukizaza Arukita Kunze Marichi my results. Those are I'm a fan of an individual. I'm a fan of seeing football. I'm a fan of Warriors.
What do you think about what he's talking about? Let's discuss on our socials at ZTN Prime and hashtag the couch. Let's discuss. Do you think this argument holds water when it comes to the coaches? We're not really discussing the coach, but hey, our focus is on the squad that he has released, a 51-member squad, a provisional squad for the Africa Cup of Nations. It's going to be whittled down to 23 that will represent Zimbabwe at the Africa Cup of Nations. Let's move on. Mario also laid out his long-term ambitions for the Warriors.
For actually having the trust to get me this opportunity, quite heavy, to spearhead such an important project, which actually the nation in a way expect results, at the same time from, as you say, from grassroots all the way to any fans and the professional players, that some of them they are in the clubs here and some of them they are abroad, is a massive project that we hope that we're going to bring them together to make Zimbabwe great in football, like probably should be, and I think they need to be there because they have lots of talent, which actually probably needs to be put and highlighted as much as possible. So I have a mammoth task. It's not easy, but I'm 100% sure that with the technical staff and with the executive committee support and everyone, I think we'll get there. Maybe sometimes, maybe quicker, like I have the philosophy fast and very fast, which actually means think fast, act fast, move fast, be all prepared and organized. At the same time, sometimes you may have a little bit, a setback. So I would ask everyone from all the corners of, Zimbabweans, whatever corner of the world are, to sometimes be patient and to believe in us. And particularly now that we go towards a very, very difficult tournament, we need everyone to be together, put everything, behind, and let's focus on this project that we think we can get through with flying colors.
Yeah, that's our coach Mario Marinica. And Vera, I know you were at that press conference. Anything striking that you saw from the coach? Any parallels that you want to draw with Michael Nees?
Yeah, I think one thing that I began to maybe to like about him is the personality that he showed us in those few minutes. Of course, yes, in the past we have in his first 2 games we had a lot of grapevine around some of the words that he used on the players. But I think today he showed us another personality, which I believe, if that's really the true Marinica that he showed us today, a level-headed coach who doesn't really want to brag about himself, who believes in unity and has been calling for unity. I think maybe we might see a different Warriors outfit altogether this time around. Because look at Michael Nees. I really don't want to say negative about him, but he was that blunt to say, when I came to Zimbabwe, your football was just disoriented and I have done so much for you guys and stuff. So for me, it felt like he was more of an arrogant character. A character that you really don't want for a coach, for a national team coach. Because remember, you're dealing with players who come from different backgrounds, who come from different clubs. And you have to make them, convert them into a total unit, a team that can speak in one voice. So when you are arrogant yourself as a coach, how then do you preach unity within the team? And then also, there's a time that we talked to him about his assessment so far about the local league and its sync with the national team vis-a-vis his fast and very furious philosophy. And he was quick to say, for the 2 games that I saw, I noted that the Zimbabwean league is a bit slow. But maybe we need to work together with the local coaches so that we can speak in one voice. But despite being a national team coach, I'm not going to tell them what to do. We can just suggest as a unit here and there so that we see how best we can improve the league so that they keep abreast with the national team expectations. So I think for me, he showed a character of someone who's a bit level-headed, a character of someone who doesn't really want to be called Ndinogona, but someone who wants to share notes with the coaches.
So whilst you were speaking, David was just shaking his head. So maybe you need to take
I'm entitled to my opinions, Coach Tisombo.
Howard.
You were shaking your head.
Howard.
Shake it out.
Coach, I'm not entitled to my opinions.
Aiwa, ndikutoshamisika kuti Howard amutaura zvongo chitaura kuti kuzviramba. Aiwa, ndinamboramba zvongo chitaura.
Why were you shaking your head?
You were just shaking your head.
No, I was just saying.
You were relaxing.
Aiwa, ndakatozvigairo zvangu kuti zvaari kutaura uyu kuti Marinica ati Zimbabwean football is slow. And that's African football. As long as we play bora redu at 3 o'clock maskati. And there's no way we will play fast
yeah,
football.
Africa, Africa, Zimbabwe based on assessment dzake dzaakaita pa2 games dzaakaona.
Yeah, Pastor Marinica has converted you too. He's really charmed you. So we'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. You're watching The Culture right here on ZTN Prime, and we are discussing Mission Morocco. Who will be Mario's Warriors? Today he announced a 51-member squad that's going to be whittled down to 23 when the time comes for the team to depart for Morocco for the Africa Cup of Nations finals. Remember, we are in the same group that's got Egypt, that's got Angola, and South Africa. How are we going to fare against those teams? So yeah, the process starts now with those 51 that we announced today. And from what the coach has been saying, maybe there's room to add 1 or 2 more new faces. Maybe he's going to retain most of the guys that we're playing. But hey, we will see. Stay with us right here on The Couch.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J. All right.
Put your seatbelt on.
on the Couch by Jones at TN Prime. In studio, I've got David Sengu, 33, and Veronica Gwaze as we are discussing Mission Morocco, who will be Mario's Warriors. Today, the Warriors coach announced the 51-member squad, provisional squad, that he wants to trim down to 23. So he wants to have a look at a larger pool and make sure we've got the best that are going to represent Zimbabwe at the Africa Cup of Nations. Now, with questions raised over the exclusion of some of the top performing players on the local scene in the national team, Marinika has started working with local coaches in assessing Premier League players.
On the know to see what players are doing, and the question was this: can you recommend one or maximum two players from your club if you think that is appropriate for the national team, but also to recommend no more than two players in a league that you think that could be on the national team as it is, including all the positions. So it's not like, oh, I like this player. So all the positions to have something. So we end up with 36 players. Thank you very much to them. You know, they were very good, very assertive, so we keep communication, so we end up with 36 players. Out of that 36 players, we try to get through media, through other things, including myself and my colleagues. We went to matches and we see some of these players live. So based on that, we look to see what players could, at this point in time, I'm not saying for future or whatever was in the past, could assist us to get a stronger team for the Afcon.
Now, Marinika also added that there will be a camp for both local and foreign players, as everyone is guaranteed a place in that team, but not all of them will be able to go because only 23 players will be able to go.
We agreed to have a camp now starting 1st of December with local players. We'll have around 34 players. Probably going to see in that list some players may have missed, but some of them are injured or whatever, so that's also things, and we have only what we can do. So we look at these local players, but also going to have some foreign-based players coming into the camp. You may be surprised. So we try to give a chance, like I said initially, my door to be open to anyone. It doesn't matter the league, it doesn't matter where he plays in the world, it doesn't matter the age. So the door is open to anyone. No places are guaranteed. Everyone has to fight for their place wherever they are. So based on that, I want to have something on merit, to have a strong squad as best as possible to this Afcon. Maybe you'll be surprised some players may be missing in whatever we're going to see, because these players, they have a genuine chance to prove themselves within these 5 days to see can they be selected now in the national team. After that, we're going to go to the next stage and so forth until we end up with 23 players in Afcon, which actually we think that at this point in time will be the players representative of the country, willing to fight for the country, being, you know, representative for the Afcon to try to create history for the country. So I'm not looking like, you know, any given place to anyone, so everyone, we start, you know, from a clean sheet.
So I'm going to try and quote verbatim what he was saying. You know, he doesn't mind where the player is playing, how old they are, as long as the player is giving him what he wants, he will take. So yeah, when we started, remember, you were talking about Alec Mdimo. So don't worry, whether he's playing for some Boozers League or, well, by the way, which team is Alec playing for? David, you were?
Flint Town United, Welsh League.
Well, it's the top
it's in the Premier League, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly where he was playing when he first came to play for the Warriors back in 2019, 2021.
Mm. So it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you are 40, like Washington Arubi is 40, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether you are 40 and you are a midfielder and you still want to give it a go. Yeah, if you give it a chance, so who knows? So yeah, this is what we are working with, Vero. And Afcon is next month. Are you confident? I know you're converted. You're converted by Marinika, but are you confident that we'll do well in the group that we are in? Egypt, South Africa, and Angola.
I think we're going to do well by our standards.
What standard is that?
I have always believed that I think as a Warriors fan, our expectations are just too high. we have always been to Afcon and we have always been booted out in the group stages. We haven't made it past the group stages.
Is that our standard?
If we are going to make it past the group stages, that's going to be a bonus for us. So our expectations, because this is how we end up attacking either the coach or attacking certain players because they did 1, 2, 3. But when we look at our football, we have been to this is the 6th time that we are going to Afcon. But have we ever progressed past the group stages? Why do we always keep our hopes too high in such a way that whenever we then get disappointed, we fire Savlo? So I think we need to be realistic about what we're expecting. If we are going to make it past the group stages, that's going to be a bonus for us.
Tadi, we are going to Morocco. And our aim right now is to do better than what we have done, go into the second round. And we've got a coach who's talking about very fast and fast football. With the time, the team is getting into camp on the 5th. With that time that we've got until the team departs for Morocco, is that ample time for the players to adapt to that type of football?
Yeah, this is a professional level, and what I like most about what Super Mario said, this was also good. Hakuna mundu ari guaranteed a playing place. It's just what I vari mafani just because so and so player is playing kwakati, so he's guaranteed. Obva ashika zvakaiti ari lackadaisical because hapana challenge. This time around, paiswa ma challengers. This time around, everyone should enter his place. So I think with that philosophy, I think we are going to get through to the next stage. After all, you've got a player a coach for the first time. Akambokushika kukwaini Malawi. So this time around, I think it was.
Hey, let's go to the guy who's been relaxing. So we've got a very difficult task. By our standards, I'm going to borrow from Vero's book. By our standards, it's a very difficult task. Sometimes we give ourselves, certain targets that we know are very difficult to attain. But with what you have seen and what you have heard today, realistically, what are we going to do for Afcon?
I'm just looking forward to something, Chekuti. We just go there and enjoy ourselves, and also, Kuti, do we really have the players that can take us far?
Do we?
I think we need a change of mentality, especially when we're approaching those games.
To the very fast and fast.
No, sometimes we give those nations too much respect. It's Egypt, we're playing South Africa. We have been, doing well under Hugo Bruce. Angola has been like Zimbabwe, but the last time that I heard about Angola, I think kudara time yana aqua and one do time yandakapesa Angola inonzi not this was the way they played against Argentina when they lost by 2-0. I think they performed really well, because it was a respectable and it was a celebration match yavakatamba na Argentina. But isusu tikango zviisa mugame award zvekuti will lose respect and kwavari because ivo vanenge vakuti Zimbabwe ringodyiwa nedzese and all, but when we get there we fight as our name as Warriors. I think we can get past group stages, but for now let's just go there and enjoy ourselves.
Let's go there and enjoy ourselves. The converted, the motivational speaker. That's the couch for today. It's been absolutely wonderful to have these voices here on the couch. Vero, thanks so much for coming. Tadi, always a pleasure. And David, thanks for your time. It's always good to have you on the couch. My name is Howard Musonza. Enjoy the rest of your viewing right here on ZTN Prime.
ndakatora madrugs akawandisa